I'm Pesach b'shtei sifrim.
When's the Siyam?
The Siyam is like Rosh Chodesh years. Okay. We do. We have a lot of things to talk about. Rosh Chodesh year, yeah, right after Pesach.
No, I'm like
Wait a second, I don't understand. We're not when this is not finishing before Pesach?
It is. We're pushing off the Siyam, the food part.
The Siyam part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's a good thing we waited 2 minutes. We have 3 people coming in. Beautiful. Okay. Rabbi said we have a major machlokes here in the Mishnah. If you space out now, you space out for a while. I have it in major words. You're going to read it. Very good.
It has to be an Israeli guy to read that.
All right. Anyways, we have a machlokes in the Mishnah between Rameir and Reb Shimon. When you shech the animal and the blood comes out of the animal, does that blood do a preparation for the dangling limb? We have an animal with a dangling limb, and every piece of meat needs preparation for tumah. You can't just touch it and make it tumah. You have to pour liquid on it. One of the 7 liquids. One of the 7 liquids. It's not so pashut that Reb Shimon holds that dam is one. We'll see later. But dam is a liquid. Is the dam of the mother animal enough to fall on the limb and create a hechsher tumah, preparation for tumah? And for that we have 6 explanations. What exactly is the machlokes? So yesterday we had Rabbah. We had 2 out of the 6. Rabbah, is the large animal that weighs so much and is so large, can it be a handle? Could we view it as a handle to the smaller limb? Because usually a handle is similar in size. We don't have a giant handle and a tiny little tool at the end or whatever. That's Rabbah.
We don't think that the blood actually dripped onto that tiny lid. It never reached it.
Well, in one of the pshatim, yes.
But not according to this.
Not according to this. Now we're talking about yad, just a transfer of here. Here's a great picture. I love this picture of yad. Here's a typical yad. You have a lot of meat and you have a handle. But you never have a handle and a little thing sticking out. So over here, the animal is 1,000 pounds. How much does a cow weigh? And it has a little limb dangling off. And you want to tell me that the whole cow is a handle to that little limb? Reb Shimon says no. Reb Meir says yes. It doesn't matter how big the cow is. It's still a limb. Okay, so that's pshat number 1. Pshat number 2 is abaya. And that's what we're holding really today. In middle of pshat number 2, we're going to go over it real quickly. Again, the question is, we could look at this picture as well. This might help us. If I lift up this big piece, usually the small piece sticks around. The question is in the reverse. If I lift this and the large heavy piece falls off, can I still consider this as one unit? That's the machlokes. Reb Meir says yes. At the end of the day, I don't care about holding it this way. I care about holding it this way. So if I hold it this way, the small little limb, obviously it's dangling today. Why is it dangling? Because it's not being ripped off the big piece. It could still hold on to the big piece. Only if you flip it over, then it rips off. I don't care about that. Reb Shimon says I do care. It needs to go both ways. You have to be able to hold it in all directions if you want to consider it one. Okay, so that's where we're holding. Says the Gemara, Va'af Rabbi Yochanan, 5 lines from the bottom. Va'af Rabbi Yochanan Sovar. Rabbi Yochanan also agrees to this teretz of Abaya. Machlokes is, if I hold on to the smaller of the 2, and the larger one is not going to lift up, it's going to break away because it's only holding on by a string. That's a machlokes. How do I know that Rabbi Yochanan agrees to that? The Rabbi Yochanan Rami, the Reb Meir, ad Reb Meir. Rabbi Yochanan asked the question. There seems to be a contradiction in Reb Meir himself, and based on his question, you could see that that's how he held in Reb Meir. So Rabbi Yochanan is learning in our sugya that the question is, if you hold on to the small piece, does the larger piece break away? And Reb Meir says it's okay. Again, Reb Meir says if you hold on to a small piece and the large piece breaks off because of the weight, it's still considered one unit. And Reb Shimon says it's not. Vermino, I have the exact same case. I have a piece of food. Mu'ura, we're going to be using that word a lot today. It's dangling, holding on by a little string. Now, we're talking about truma. And we're talking about a tvul yoim. What's a tvul yoim? A person that's tameh, he goes into the mikvah, he doesn't become tar as soon as he emerges from the mikvah. He must wait until sundown. That period after he came out of the mikvah till sundown is like an in-between period. He's not so tameh, but he's not tahar yet. He's in between. Rashi over here says he's midrabanan tameh, which is very problematic. But it's lighter. It's a lighter tumah. Let's say that's what Rashi meant. Akopanim, if he goes, the only difference is if he touches truma, then you can't eat the truma. But he doesn't have enough tumah in his body to make regular food tameh. All he could do is take a piece of kadosh truma, touch it, make it aser. That's it. So now, I have a shayla, I have a piece of food that's truma and is dangling by a thread, and the Tvul Yom touched piece A. He touched it right over here. He touched it over here. No, he touched it over here. Does this become tameh? And the answer is, well, if I hold it like this and it rips away, says Remeir, then it's not tameh. But that's opposite of what he just said now.
Kiru, it's not attached.
It's not attached. And Remeir said it is attached. In our sugi, he says it's attached.
How come by Kochim?
How come by Kochim it's that? So what could be a very simple answer? That Tvul Yom is different. Tvul Yom is very light. We don't care so much about Tvul Yom. So if it rips apart, Remeir is not going to be machmer and say it's tameh. He already came out of the mikvah. He's already 3/4 there. No, don't be so machmer.
But why is that the gauge? That's really the question now. Why is that the gauge? Why
You mean he doesn't hold of such a gauge?
Right.
Well, in a very light tumah, he does hold of such a gauge.
This is funny, right?
Major guest on Thursday. Remeir oimei moiches bakotim v'godol yimim hareu kamoyu v'mla v'ene kamoyu v'omer Rabbi Yochanan muchlefes hashita. You know, the first time I saw this Gemara, Muchlefes Hashita, I thought about all the other Gemaras I ever learned. Muchlefes Hashita usually means you got to flip the Shita. Right. Rashi says no, that's not what it means here. It just means that in the Tvul Yom, Reb Meir switched. Don't do any switching. Reb Meir holds that it's one unit, either way you hold it. In Tvul Yom, he holds differently, Muchlefes Hashita. What's very interesting though I found is that Tosfos says that, what do you mean Muchlefes Hashita? In Mesechtes Tvul Yom, the Geir is the right way. So it seems to be that whoever, once upon a time, some guy came along, even before Tosfos' time, and he said, Muchlefes Hashita. He switched it around on his own. He figured, not like Rashi, he didn't read Rashi, that Muchlefes Hashita doesn't mean literally you got to switch it around. He thought Muchlefes Hashita means that it's a mistake. Whoever wrote it made a mistake in Remeir. We have to flip Remeir around. He went in Mesechtes Tvul Yom, somebody, that's what it seems like from Tosfos. Somebody went around and switched the Shita in Tvul Yom. Where Rashi says that's not what it had, that's not the truth. Muchlefes Hashita doesn't mean to switch, you switch, it means Remeir switched. He says in Tvul Yom like this, and he says over here like that. They don't really speak it out like that, but that's what it seems like from Tosfos. That's an explanation of why it would be Mefurish. Doesn't answer. It just means that over there is different. Tvul Yom is different. Remeir decided it's different. Now, Umay Kushya, Dil Mashani here, the Gemara explains a little bit, but not really. So, what's so shver? Dil Mashani Remeir bein Tvul Yom l'shar tumois. Maybe Remeir really holds that there's a difference between Tvul Yom. Tvul Yom is much lighter. He came out of the mikvah, so he doesn't have the ability to be metama a larger piece if it breaks off. Says Gemara, no, Tanya, it can't be. Rebbe himself says, Echad Tvul Yom, Vechad Shar Tumois. There's no difference. Rebbe himself says there's no difference between the Tvul Yom and other tumas. Don't say Tvul Yom is more kal. Rebbe says it's not. Oh, so what if Rebbe said? Just because Rebbe said it doesn't mean that. Rabbi Yochanan said, the divrei Rebbe Muchlefes Hashita. You're right. According to Rebbe, who says that Tvul Yom and all tumas are the same, so I can't come up with an explanation that Reb Meir was makel by Tvul Yom, since they're on the same plane. So according to Rabbi Yochanan, I have to say, Muchlefes Hashita, that Reb Meir says one way in Tvul Yom and another way in our sugya.
Even Rabbi says that you could switch it.
Only Rebbe.
Right.
If not for Rebbe, you could say a very simple answer that Reb Meir holds by Tvul Yom that it breaks apart. It's not considered one unit, and by else he holds that it's one unit because Tvul Yom is lighter. But Rebbe says it's not lighter. There's no difference in tumah. We don't care that one is Tvul Yom. It's always the same. So Rebbe is going to have a problem. So if you're asking me what's the pshat in the sugya, how come it doesn't answer? It does answer because Tvul Yom is lighter. It doesn't answer Rebbe. It answers. We could have a simple teretz that in Tvul Yom Rabbi Meir holds that it's a weaker tumah, and therefore, if they break apart when you lift one piece, then the tumah doesn't transfer one from the other. Okay, next Thursday. If this is too difficult, Baruch Hashem, we have a third pshat. What are we trying to figure out here? On Kuf Chav Zayin Amud Beis, all the way on the top, the Mishnah brings a machlokes between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Shimon. Is the blood of the shechita of an animal enough to be machshir a dangling limb? What is the machlokes? Rabbi Meir says it is. Rabbi Shimon says not. Rav Amar biyesh yad letuma ve'ein yad lehechsher kamifligi. Okay, so going back to the yad, it makes a lot of sense. This pshat. I understand that if I touch right over here, this right over here is never becomes tummy, right? It's a bone, it doesn't become tummy, it's not mikabel tumah. But it's a conduit for tumah. So if I touch the bone, and I'm tummy, I touch this bone, the tumah travels into my meat. And if the meat is tummy, and I'm tahor, and I touch the bone, the tumah travels this way. That's great for tumah. But here the machlokes is, if I pour water, I take this, and I pour it only on my bone, does my meat become prepared for tumah? Liquid never touched my meat. Liquid only touched my yad. That's machlokes. It makes a lot of sense. For tumah, I could see that it's a conduit. But pouring liquid on a bone, how's that going to help my meat? Very simple machlokes.
Why isn't that the same as Rabbah?
Whoa. No, because over here he's saying everybody agrees it's a yad. There's no shiloh over here if it's a yad or not.
But over there, when we asked if it's a yad or not, the nafkamina was whether it could be machshir from also, didn't we?
No, he says in general is it a yad. Period. Even latuma.
And nafkamina here would be latuma. So now
No. Rabbah is saying in all areas, is it a yad or not a yad? Even latuma it's not a yad. Because if I lift up the small piece, no, sorry, that's the second shot. It can't be a yad because it's a bigger piece. Okay. This is bigger than this. This is larger, so this can't be a yad. Period. Even for tumah. Okay. I'm telling you now, this is a yad latuma. I agree to you that this is a yad latuma. It's fine. I don't care that this is very large and this is very small. Hechsher tumah. For liquid, how could I pour liquid on a bone that never becomes tameh and expect this to become tameh through that liquid? According to Reb Shimon. Rav Amar yesh yad l'tumah ve'ein yad lehechsher kamifligi. Mar Sovar yesh yad l'tumah ve'ein yad lehechsher. Reb Shimon holds it doesn't work for hechsher. Mar Sovar Reb Meir holds yesh yad l'tumah ulehechsher. Fine. Fourth pshat. Rav Papa Amar. Rav Papa holds there's a yad l'tumah and hechsher.
Yad for? Sorry, according to Reb Shimon, what's it a yad for then? My nafkamina that it's a yad.
No, it's not a yad now. It can't be a yad. This is not a yad, period. End the story. Throw this out.
It says yesh yad l'tumah, ve'ein yad lehechsher. So what's yesh yad l'tumah? What does yesh yad l'tumah mean according to Reb Shimon?
In general, any single time, forget about it. If these were equal in size, not in our case, if these were equal, you had a piece of meat and you had a bone, then according to Reb Shimon, this would be a conduit for tumah. The issue over here, according to Rabbah, is, the first pshat is, because this is way too big, so this doesn't act as a yad at all.
Yeah.
Oh. Hi, hello. I see you. I know you're in the kitchen, Hillel. Okay. He's smiling. He's still watching. He goes until the last second. Okay. Rav Papa Amar behechsher koidem machshava komifligi. Everybody holds there's a yad l'tumah and hechsher. Even Reb Shimon admits that there's a yad lehechsher. I could pour water on the bone, and it makes my meat mushal l'kabel tumah. What is the problem here? I don't know if I was so clear in the Mishnah. Could be I missed a very pashat pshat in the Mishnah. We were going quick. In order for something to be mekabel tumah, it has to be food. How do you make a aver menachai food? It's not food. You can't eat it. Nobody can eat it, not even a guy. The answer is, you say, I'm going to feed it to a guy who's going to be over. A Jew also. Just Rashi talks about a guy all the time because we don't want to assume that a Jew is going to do something like that. The point is, in your mind, I made it food. Okay, so I made it food. Now what happened was, very, very interesting question. This dangling aver had plenty of liquid on it. Yesterday. But yesterday I never thought that I'm going to give it to a guy. Yesterday I said the whole world are tzaddikim, nobody's going to eat every menachai, so I never thought that my every menachai is food. So when it had liquid on it, does that liquid count or not? That's the whole machlokes. You hear the shaila? It had liquid, it was edible, but it's not halachically edible. It's every menachai, you're not supposed to eat it. So in my mind, I put it out of, it's not food in my mind. And then afterwards, the next day, I said, oh, you know what? I'm going to give it to my goy, the neighbor. I see that he anyways eats Eivir Menachai. Let me benefit from my piece of Eivir Menachai. But now there's no Hechsher Tumah. Today there's no liquid. Yesterday was liquid. Does the liquid from yesterday work on today?
This dangling limb.
Hold on a second.
That dangling limb.
Yeah.
Is not Eivir Menachai.
Dangling limb, we said, is not. Yeah. But it could be, the Mishnah, the first part of the Mishnah is, you could be machshir l'kabel tuma soichlin. You machshir l'tuma soichlin. But you're not allowed to eat it today. It is Eivir Menachai. If you ate it, you can't take a bite out of an animal. So when it was machshir l'kabel tuma, when you poured water on it, you have to think in your mind that it's for a guy. I'm feeding it to a guy.
I think we say
plain old.
We say lifnei iver by a guy as well.
Yeah.
It would be also to do that.
Right.
So isn't it better to say
that he gave it to a Jew?
That the guy just took it and ate it.
Yeah, but you have to have in mind that he's going to take it and eat it.
After he ate it.
Whoa, you can't after. You have to make it mushal kabel tuma. How can after? You can't do after the fact. How do you do hechsher tuma? Explain to me how you do hechsher tuma. You have a dangling piece of meat that nobody can eat. A guy can't eat. And then you went and you spilled water on it.
Water.
And you thought to yourself, what when you spilled the water?
It's not food.
It's not food. So then the water doesn't work.
Now the guy goes and makes it into food. So now do we say that?
Oh, you're saying in this? Okay, fine.
But you don't have to say he fed it. The guy went and ate it.
No, you have to make it into food. You have to make it into food. You have to make it into you, but your das has to make it.
It's his food.
After he ate it, you can't go back retroactively.
He's just arguing.
That's the shayla.
He's just arguing the point. How did the guy get it? You gave it to him, or he took it by himself?
And Rashi doesn't say like that. Rashi just says that he had imchishev aleim lahachilon lenochri. Sorry, that's what Rashi says.
Chishon is not
Lahachilon lenochri, to feed it to a guy. Okay, the snan. Omar Rabbi Yehuda kachoy Rabbi Akiva shoyna. Now in Rabbi Akiva we have a havamina, and then later on a very rare case that somebody showed Rabbi Akiva that he was wrong, and he took it back. He retracted. So in the beginning he said, "Chaylev shchuta bakfarim tzarich machshava v'tzarich hechsher." I think we spoke about it yesterday, right? The fat, or maybe I just mixed up. Maybe I learned it yesterday. The fat in a village. I don't think we learned it. You're right. Interesting, because we had a few days ago, maybe a week ago, we had almost a reverse thing that, we had by birds, that there's no birds in a village. I remember Yosef wasn't happy with that.
No, we never learned that.
Yeah. Remember Yosef? The birds in the village? You had an aura on that. You weren't so excited that since there's no chicken in the village, then the chicken is not even food or something. They have to be machshav or whatever. Yeah. Anyways, but over here it's the opposite.
That's how it doesn't eat chicken.
They don't eat chicken. They have to think to themselves, oh, this is food. He didn't like it. I remember something. He was like not happy. What was your question then?
We see the birds. We don't see them as food. So, but maybe they are food.
They are food until you make them food. Here's a great example. Look, here's another example. Very similar case, but in the reverse. In the village, they have one animal, but they have 5 people. So they have if they shecht an animal, once they decide to shecht an animal, there's plenty of meat going around. In the cities is where they have a shortage of meat. So since they have a shortage of meat, then they eat the fat as well. And in the village, they don't eat the fat. Again, it's something they don't eat, but for a different reason. Because they're so wealthy, they have so much meat, they don't need to eat the fat. Not because they don't have chicken. So it's very interesting. You have a part of the animal that people in your neighborhood don't eat, so it's not considered food. It's not considered food until you yourself have in mind to make it into food. Chaylev shchuto bakfarim, the fat of a shechted animal in a village, tzarich machshava ve'ein tzarich hechsher. So in the beginning he said, interesting halacha, you have to consider it food in your mind, but since you're already, the whole animal is mukhshel kabel tumah through the shchita, so I don't have to redo the liquid process. I don't have to introduce liquid to it to make it prepared for tumah, because the whole animal is prepared for tumah. There's a small piece of that animal that wasn't food yesterday and only today became food because I decided to do it. In the beginning, Rebbe Akiva said, that's okay. Then he retracted it. Shekvar huchshar b'shchita. The shchita, as we said, is enough to make it muchshal kabel tuma. As we're going to see, even there's two shitas. Why is it the blood or is it the shchita? But shchita accomplishes hechsher tuma. So it accomplishes hechsher tuma even for that fat that nobody eats. Says Rabbi Yehuda, I told him, how can that be? You taught us ulshin shelikton v'hidichan ulshin. Ulshin, according to the art scroll, is the number 2 best maror. In the art scroll doesn't say that, but according to art scroll, this is ulshin. Actually, no. According to halacha, it talks about ulshin endives. So it goes romaine lettuce, endives, and then you probably eat horseradish. The Hamishes eat horseradish, but that's third on the list. It's the best. Why? Because in Europe they didn't have romaine lettuce in Pesach time, and number 1 and 2. So it became. I don't think they care about insects. I mean, they cared, but that wasn't the issue. The issue is horseradish is Haimish. It makes you cry. That's the way to do more. Anyways, but in halacha, endives is number 2. I'm just saying it because it's Erev Pesach. So endive Erev Rish Chodesh. So these endives, a guy went, and that's exactly what it is. But but what you just said, whatever the word is,
Chicory.
It's the same thing. It's one of the same as endives. Just one is in the ground, one is out of the ground. That's endives. That's the top part. And chicory is the bottom part. Very good. Oh, so that's what they use for maror. You're saying they use that looks maror, the bottom part.
Chicory are two different things. But in England,
Don't they what?
In England and France, they interchange. They're the opposite way around. So in France, they eat chicory for maror. And in England,
Yeah, but isn't the chicory the top, the bottom, and the endive the top? No.
It's two different things.
I thought it's the same.
But
Okay, I'm not a big maven.
Like the French beans.
20 minutes. Fine. So here. Huh?
Try to use chicory as coffee during the war.
Wait a minute. A guy takes water and washes these off for his animal. He has an animal that he cares about. He washes this off. Is the water that he washed off the endives enough to be machshel kabel tuma? Why? Because in his mind he said, I don't want it for human consumption. I want it for animal consumption. So maybe the water is not enough.
when we
It needs.
Feed the animal.
I don't know why he washed it off. He's trying to get rid of the bugs or something. He got rid of all. Look at the picture, Gary. Show him the picture of the chicory. It's deep in the ground. It's disgusting. It's full of mud. So I guess you wash it off. Otherwise, even the animal wouldn't. What? Even the animal wouldn't eat it. It makes sense that he would wash it off. The point is that he washed it off when it wasn't edible for human consumption. It was edible, but he decided it's for his animals.
is that why you stopped serving chicory with the coffee in the morning?
That's what he said. Something about coffee. I don't know what. I don't know. I'm not sure what that means.
They grind.
Okay. Yeah, we got to move. Says Rebbe Kiva, you need another hechsher. So then if so, why is it that by chaylev you don't need another hechsher? By chaylev that I started out saying I'm not going to eat it, and then the next day I said I am going to eat it. You said, oh, you don't need another hechsher. You did the hechsher yesterday. And by endives, it's different. V'chazer Rebbe Kiva liyah shonik Rebbe Yehuda, and Rebbe Kiva admitted to Rebbe Yehuda, he's right, you need another hechsher. Mar Savala Kimikar. Remeir holds like the first Rebbe Kiva before he retracted that you don't need another hechsher. So Mela, the hechsher of the shechita over here works, and that's it. That's the whole machlokes here. Mar Savala Chazara. Reb Shimon holds. I go like the second Rebbe Kiva, his later on in life, where he says I need to do another hechsher, and that's why in the Mishnah Reb Shimon says Lo yuchsheru. They don't become kosher. They don't become muksher for tuma with the first machshava. Ravacha Bereder Ravika Amar. He says there's a yad l'tuma, but there's no yad l'hechsher. So here's a geshmaki case, and this is what Mr. Kornblut was saying before. You have a question, the old question: if shechita starts and ends, is it one long process, or shechita is all the way at the end? L'maynaf kimina, you have a little bit. Excuse me. You have a little bit of blood that comes out all the way in the beginning of the shechita, in the first siman, drips on the dangling limb. Is that enough to be machsharet? What did he do? If it remained on the limb, and then the shechita was finished, so that the blood that was on the limb all in the beginning is enough. He went and he wiped it off. So the limb never got the end blood, only got the beginning blood, and that's machlokes. Is beginning blood part of the shechita or not? Yes, the shechita mitchila vatsoif or not?
But would it make it different? Liquid.
Oh, very good question. The answer is no. Only certain bloods are good for liquid, not blood in general. Blood of shechita is liquid. Blood of chopping off the head of an animal is liquid. All other bloods from the same animal are not liquid. If I were to do what they do in Africa and just pluck a hole in a live animal and pull out blood, that's not liquid.
Blood of a wound.
Right. We're going to see Mefurish in the Gemara.
It's the same
It's a
blood.
wound or not? Is it a wound?
Where the beginning is a wound and at the end it's not. It's a
If you say a shechita is only at the end,
Yeah,
so
it's a
the blood in the beginning is just from a wound. Let's see the Gemara inside. You wiped off the blood between the two simonim. Remeir holds this is shechita from the beginning to the end, and therefore it's enough. He had blood from the beginning, it's fine. It's the blood of a shechita. It's a blood of a wound and not a shechita, and therefore it's not machshir l'kabel tuma. Rav Ashi Omar, b'shechita machsheres v'lo dam komifligi. Beautiful. What causes the hechsher tumah here? Is it the liquid that comes out, or is it the shechita that comes out? If you say that it's the shechita that comes out, then the shechita only works on something that it makes mutter to eat. What is shechita? Shechita allows you to eat this meat, but it doesn't allow you to eat the dangling meat. So the shechita had no effect on the dangling meat. But if you're telling me it's the liquid that comes out of the shechita, nothing to do with the shechita and the heter that it causes, it's just liquid that comes out. So the liquid that came out was machshir, my dangling aver. That's what Rameir holds. Boy Rabba. So Rashi explains this question. Who's Rabba? Rabba is answer number one. Pshat number one. What's the question? Is the aver, is the large animal a yad for the aver? Okay, and Rameir says what? It is. A very large animal has a dangling limb. The large animal is a yad, could still be a yad for the aver. Asks Rabba, very interesting question. This animal which is alive and it is tahar, an animal can become tummy when it's alive. Can it be a conduit to the dangling aver that was wet? You have a dangling aver that's wet and the animal is alive. Can it be? You're telling me it's a yad. So maybe it could be a yad while it's alive and bring the tumah to the dangling aver. Live animal.
What tumah?
Huh?
What tumah?
No. I have a live animal. This is my aver, this is my animal, and this touches a sheretz while it's alive. The sheretz touched, so it's as if it's touching this wet piece of meat, this dangling piece of meat. The Mishnah says that this dangling piece of meat becomes Tomei Tumah Soichlin, if you wet it. Even though it's dangling. Only Oichlin. Could I bring the tumah through a live animal? It's a yad. You just told me it's a yad. You just told me the large animal is a yad. So maybe it could be a yad while it's alive.
Why is it a tekel? Why is it a mayor of Karen?
No, in Rameir. The question is according to Rameir. Is it even according to Rameir? Is it considered yad?
Why not?
What?
It's live.
This is
But he
mamish.
said it's a
This
yad.
is what do you call it? Okay, what?
He said it's a yad.
It's a yad, but not when it's alive.
It's a live animal.
It's a live animal.
It's dangling. That's part of the live animal.
It's a live animal. Could a live thing be a conduit? Something that's completely tar be a conduit for something that could be mekabel tumah? We're going to find 5 questions, the same exact question, basically in different variations. You have something that cannot possibly halachically become tameh. Can it be a conduit to something that's attached to it that could become tameh? Like a branch that's broken off a tree, like a piece of avodah zarah, half of avodah zarah. Could it? We'll see all these cases. What Tosfos asks is, I don't understand. Isn't every yad not mekabel tumah? Every yad, this guy, this pulki over here, this part is not mekabel tumah, and it transfers tumah into here. So the animal also can't be mekabel tumah, and it's alive, but it should transfer. It should be electric to bring it in. Says Tosfos, the reason why a pulki doesn't what? Bottle?
The yad is not bottle, but it's tafel. You call it tafel,
No, we're not talking about ikir and tafel. Why? Whoever mentioned that? It could be, it's mekabel tumah. Why? even though it itself is not tamei. So Taisus explains because this can never be eaten. But when it comes to an animal, sometimes you could eat an animal when it's alive. When could you eat an animal when it's alive? A ben pekua. And then Mela, that's why the Gemara had a question here. Says the Gemara, Bay Rabba, Omar Bay, Hare Yamru, Hishus Shenata Ba'atzitz Vigdila V'yatzis Chutz Laza. It's Gishmak Yesugis. Rabbi say it's not time to go to sleep now. No, we had a what do you call it? We had a record. 2 people sleeping at the same time this year. Okay.
If you call this gishmak, man.
This is so gishmak. You gotta follow. It's a gishmak. Listen, tell me that this is not gishmak. I'm gonna tell you this. No, right now, time out. I didn't even start.
He doesn't like cucumber.
Gary, this is gishmak moed. Listen to this. You see the cucumbers growing here in a pot. The pot doesn't have holes. What's the halacha? Pot that doesn't have holes? Attached to the ground or not attached to the ground? Not attached to the ground. Mikabel tuma, not mikabel tuma?
Yes.
Mikabel tuma, because it's not attached to the ground. Okay, it's going to get gishmak now. A leaf is sticking outside of the pot. Over the side. What's the halacha of that leaf? It is yonik from the ground, and that is mechuber, not mikabel tuma. So how does that leaf affect the rest of the pot? Machloikis. Tanakama says the whole pot is tahar. The whole pot is tahar. Why? Because the one leaf, they all nourish from each other. Rabbi Shimon says, what's the shaykhis? This leaf that's sticking out is mechuber. The rest of the pot is not mechuber. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Now, Diane, it's very gishmak. It's all gishmak. I just made it more gishmak for Gary. You have to look into it. Okay, the krecht from the pickle. We all know the krecht from the pickle. Yeah.
That's gishmak.
Yeah, that's gishmak.
So that's not an issue.
I don't know. Kitzer, it went viral. Here's the question. Question is, could this leaf bring tumah, since this leaf is mechuber, this leaf is not mechuber? You see what's going on here? One pot, one thing that's connected. This is not mikabel tumah, this is mikabel tumah. If a sheretz touches this leaf, does it transfer tumah to the leaf that could be mikabel tumah? This leaf can never be mikabel tumah, it's mechuber. Right. But maybe it's a conduit, electric could flow through it to other leaves. The same exact question that we had a second ago. But it's more gishmak because it has a krecht.
If you say that it's mechuber,
We gotta move. Rabbi said we gotta move.
you have 10 minutes.
You 10 minutes, exactly. Look, this daf is even longer than that we just did. Oh, we're in big trouble. Okay, no one's gonna make it up while I leave. After I leave. By the way, I'm leaving on Sunday afternoon. Sunday's my last day here for a while. So this coming Sunday. All right, Siyum will to be discussed. Rosh Chodesh year approximately. Zokti Gemara, lamb chops and the whole thing. What does one leaf have to do with the other leaves? The leaves inside the pot, they stay tamei. The leaf hanging over is tar. And here comes the question: can it be a yad? It's the same question, but in different variations. A person bows down to half a giant pumpkin. You saw those pictures of the pumpkin the size of the room? He bows down to half of it. Now, the pumpkin is somewhat attached. I don't know exactly how. Attached. One part is somewhat connected to the other. Now, since a person bows down to a pumpkin, what happens to the pumpkin that he bowed down to? Becomes Avodah Zarah, becomes Asur Bahana. And according to Taisus brings, according to Reb Shimon, if it's Asur Bahana, it cannot be Mekabel Tumah. So it's just like this leaf that's hanging over the side. So you have half a pumpkin that cannot be Mekabel Tumah, half of the pumpkin could be Mekabel Tumah. Can you transfer Tumah through the good part to the bad part? Daf Kuf Ches Amud Beis. Kuf Chav Ches Amud Beis. Omer Papa, Hari Omru. Yichu Sheteino. Shenifshach. This you could go to sleep for. It's not as gishmak, but it's going to get gishmak in a second after that. I'm just letting you know, if you're very tired, there's parts that you could come in and out of. So you have a branch that broke off, and it's dangling. This branch is dangling by a thread. Rabbi Yehuda metar v'chachamim oimrim yochel lichiyos tar v'mlav tomei. By Rapapa, Maushi also Yad Chaveroi, can you transfer Tumah through the rest of the tree that's not broken off into the branch that's dangling by a thread taken? Now here comes Gishmak. Omer Zera, Hare Amru. Let me just tell you real quickly how it goes because next parsha you're going to be reading it. Every year for the most of your life, a lot of you read this parsha, heard the Bakar, had no idea what was going on. And now, next week, when you hear the Bakar, it's going to be a whole different... Yeah, exactly. It goes like this. If a person sees a piece of tzaras on his wall in his house, he calls the kohen. Even an Amaritz, even a shaitim kohen has the right to come in and say, yeah, get out of your house, shalom. So a kid said the Amaritz comes or whatever, the kohen says, yeah, it looks bad. It's really bad. You let him. You leave it for a week. If he comes back in a week from now and it's still there, the same size, you take out the stone, you put a new stone in. If it grew, if it spread, you're in trouble. Knock down the house. But if it's the same size, you take out the stone, replace it with a new stone. You come back the following week, and lo and behold, it regrew in the same spot. So now you knock down the house. However, the problem is, you live in a townhome. You live in Noam's house. You know those houses? You can't knock down his house. If you knock down his house, then his neighbor, I don't know his name, Ovadia, he doesn't have his whole wall is missing. So you knock down your half of the house. Your half of the wall. You have a big stone. You share with your Ovadia, with your neighbor. Cut it in half. So the question is the same exact question. Your half of the stone is Tameh, his half is Tar. Can Tumah be transmitted through the tar stone into Ovadia's house? Why? It's a big shaila here because, by the way, this Tumah works as an oil. It's like mace. So everything in the house becomes Tameh. Maybe the entire Ovadia house becomes Tameh through your kosher stone, even though it's tar in the beginning, but the Tumah transfers right through it into his house. The whole house is oil. Now,
not from the fact that the Torah says just knock down one half and not the other.
Oh, so that they discuss it, like, yeah, that's to be discussed. Weiter. No, for real, they do. They ask you a question. I mean, that's exactly what the Torah wants to say. They're trying to talk. The cornerstone. In other words, you share it with your neighbor. When you remove it, is kula. You take the whole thing out. I don't care about the neighbor. But when I knock down the house, you knock down only your half a stone. Fine. Now, says in the Mishnah, Mesa habehema. So what happens if the animal dies with a dangling limb? So the meat, not the aver, the meat needs hechsher. However, the aver is considered, says the Mishnah, aver min achai and not nevela. What is the difference between aver min achai and a nevela? They're both tameh. Says the Gemara, if I remove meat from within the aver min achai, is amazing halacha, it remains tahar. Where meat from a nevela is a nevela. All meat, a kazais of nevela is nevela, but a kazais of aver min achai is completely tahar. The lubasa parish me aver min achai lo mitame me aver min nevela mitame. Aver min achai the mitame mikra. Where do I see it in the Torah? Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav v'chiyamos min habehema. The word min is extra. It should say v'chiyamos habehema. Min habehema means from the behema, part of the behema died. It's still alive. There's an aver min achai here. Ask the Gemara. We had this a few times in our Masechta. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. It's interesting lashon. Not literally how we read it. Mixus means some of the animals of the world, not some of the animal that we're looking at. Some animals, meaning there's a type of animal that it's dead right now, should be completely tameh. What is it? A treifa. I can't eat it. It's dead. It died after my shechita. I opened up. I saw it has a bad lung. I give it to the guy, but it's not metame. Why? Because the shechita is metaret. How do I know that halacha? From this pasuk. Which one is it? So how do I know these two drushes from? Mi behema with a mem, my mina behema. So there's an extra mem, there's an extra nun. One teaches me the treifa is not tamei, and one teaches me every menachai. Shmas min notarti. Yochi afilu basanami. So then basar should also be tamei. Why do we say that basar is tahar? The Tanya yochel ye basar aporish menachai tamei. I would think that meat that comes off of every menachai is tamei. Tamaloy mebechiyomus min abehema. It has to be something, every menachai is only something that doesn't regenerate. A piece of meat can regenerate. If I pull off a piece of meat, eventually the animal will heal and it will replace it with meat. So that meat that came off is not every menachai. What about other Eivarim. What about a lip? Could a lip regenerate? No. Is that an Eivar Menachai? Machloikis. Why? Because it doesn't have any bones in it, doesn't have any sinews in it. So we have a three-way Machloikis now. This is very easy. It actually repeats itself twice. For Daf Yomi, it's amazing. Rabbi Akiva says it has to have sinews and bones. And Rebbe says the worst. You need three things. Meat. Where's the one place on the body that doesn't have all those three, but it has two out of three? Below the knee. Below the knee you have gidim vatzamis, you don't have meat. I've called basar gidim vatzamis. Says the Gemara, what's the difference between Rebbe Akiva and Kibenayu Arkuva? Below the bone doesn't have meat, but it has gidim vatzamis. What's the difference? A kidney doesn't have any sinews and bones, and the lips. So we have three madregas. We have lips that don't have anything in them, no sinews. Then we have the below the knee that has sinews but doesn't have meat. And then we have the rest of the body. Then we said the same exact thing by shrotzim. Now we can run. Different pasuk. It has to be a piece of meat that doesn't regenerate. You have to have sinews and bones in that piece in order for it to be Eivar Menachai. I've called Gidim Atzamos. Rabbi Yomer, in order to be Eivar Menachai, Sheretz. Ma Sheretz, Basur Gidim Atzamos. You need three conditions. I've called Basur Gidim Atzamos. Be'er Kiva Be'kimenayu, Akuva, below the knee. Be'er Kiva Be'yesa Glili Me'kimenayu, Omer Republic, Kuli Be'nifs V'sayim Me'kimenayu, the kidney and the lip. Utzricha. What's the difference? I'll say about pet real quickly. Each one has a chumrah. An animal has a chumrah that you could, it's bitami b'masa. So I think that's why this has Eivar Menachai, Sheretz doesn't. Sheretz could be metama b'chadash, a much lesser amount. So you see, it's more chumrah. Even a lesser amount is tummy, it's more chumrah. Utzricha. Only a lentil. Maybe basar without any sinews, anything should be tamei. No. So I would think that basar, again, we're talking about basar here. How do I know that basar menachai is not tamei? I would think that by the more cow one, it should be tamei. Because the sheretz is not tamei because, because the sheretz that is mitam b'chadash should also be mitam of basar. Kamashmal not, perfect. We got to where we wanted to get to.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. Kids say Ahmed Beis always takes 9-10 minutes.
Vaguely, I remember vaguely.
Noam.
We had a discussion about